Kenny's in trouble. He's going to run. He's going to get the first down.
Don't sleep on those legs. Oh, he faked the slide. Sauce time. The Pitt Panthers have pulled a stunning upset over the West Virginia Mountaineers.
And Johnny Majors gets a ride across the field.
Hello and welcome back to Semple Fi Podcast, a college football podcast focused on the Pitt Panthers and sometimes the rest of the ACC. I'm your host, Zachary Kaminsky. I'm joined by my co-host this week. First off, Mason Kling, as always. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. We've had a lot of dark weeks with Pitt football in the past couple weeks, but I'm going to have a positive outlook about this one. I think it's going to be
positive vibes only?
Yeah, if you guys want to be negative, that's fine. I'm here to be positive vibes. But
all right, it's good that you're going to balance me out. So are you doing the positive vibes for Pitt because you have to kind of counterbalance the Philadelphia anxiety between the Eagles and the Phillies?
Yeah, that's definitely part of it because. And I think I just have to because it's the only way I can deal with this team. I can't just Yeah. It's not going to make anything better. So we're going to have a positive outlook.
Yeah, I'm going to sulk. Okay. So you might hear in the background the podcat is back. He's currently playing in a box full of bubble wrap, so he's having the time of his life. But you might have also heard Kent. Kent is back. We got him back from Yemen. It was a dangerous mission. Several subscribers died.
Yeah, lives were lost.
We do appreciate your sacrifice, but yeah, Kent is back, and unfortunately, this podcast can no longer be broadcast in Yemen. We are public enemies. We are shoot on sight, sort of all that stuff. But you're back. How does it feel to be back in the States?
It's good to be back. It's very good to be back. Hopefully, Pitt football gives me a good reason to be back.
Otherwise, he's going back overseas.
That was the one condition they gave him. They said, if Pitt wins this week, you're a free man. If they lose, you're back in Yemen prison forever.
You're back. Yeah, so good to be back. Good to be back in person. I think I'm going to be somewhere in the middle of you guys. I love the positive attitude. I love the positive mindset, Mason. But I'm not going to...
You can be the voice of reason. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not going to completely sulk. So you get, the listeners, you got somebody up here, somebody down here, and then I'm in the middle. So it's good balance.
So it's going to be, it'll be a good middle ground.
Yeah, so Mason's at the bottom of the cathedral learning. I'm at the top, and Kent's falling off.
Kent's taking the elevator up right now, trying to save you.
Okay, yeah, other direction, sure. Do we want to talk about the college football playoff rankings first, or go into the Pitt game first?
We can talk rankings.
Okay,
let's do that first. It's on the screen, so
that's true. I didn't mean to influence you guys like that. Okay, but biggest news: Tennessee, number one.
Yeah.
Probably earned. I think they got the best resume in the country. They killed LSU. They killed Kentucky. Still don't know how we were the closest non-Bama team against them.
Yeah,
I mean they've only gotten better since that game. That's something teams get better. It seems like.
You know how in in March Madness they'll do transitive property, when a big team gets upset by some mid-market,
St. Peter's over Kentucky.
Yeah. But then they'll use that, whoever St. Peter's lost to during that year, and then you can get it down the whole way to D3 schools.
They have the same thing for college football.
I would say they probably do, but Pitt being that close to Tennessee could be used in every single person's transitive property. If you were looking at, this team only lost to them by 3,
yeah,
and then Georgia Tech beats Pitt. Georgia Tech has some bad losses. It's just hilarious that they're the best team in the country.
Yeah, I think. Just that in the top 7 or top 6, I think there's 2 rankings I don't agree with. There's Clemson at 4 and Alabama at 6.
Clemson at 4 is kind of everybody but the committee, I think, disagreed with that one.
Right, because
Michigan outside looking in.
Michigan would 100% beat Clemson. I think that ranking Alabama or TCU, even though TCU is still undefeated in a Power 5. I mean, listen, they're lucky, but until they have a loss.
Yeah.
Why aren't they above a one-loss team?
Yeah, no, I definitely disagreed with TCU being as far down as they are. I thought they deserve to be higher up. They have more quality wins. And, they're undefeated.
I get it. Can you look me in the eye, though, and tell me that you don't think Alabama... When that line
part of it
is
out, the eye test. I get it. They take into account the eye test, but at the same time, it's
You're telling me that game at a neutral field,
Okay,
Alabama's not.
consider TCU's like weird injury luck. Like Bryce Young would die on the field, and Nick Saban would have a heart attack, and then they'd win by 7.
It's a Christian university, but they're doing some witchcraft for sure.
real.
Speaking strictly resume though, like TCU.
You're right.
Yeah.
TCU deserves to be higher,
and that does need to go into it.
Yeah.
I mean, also like what they're trying to do. They're trying to do a two teams with the SEC in the playoff. It's very clear because you have Bama at 6, you have LSU at 10, which they play this week. We'll get to previewing that, and they have Ole Miss at 11, so they can go. And they beat 2 back-to-back top 10 teams. Yeah. Ole Miss is not a top 10 team in the nation. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then obviously the top 4 is going to get shaken up once.
Right. I mean, obviously, Michigan and Ohio State 2 and 5 are going to play. Tennessee's going to play 3 this week. Most likely they'll have a rematch with Alabama in the SEC title game, which I don't know. I won't even go against Nick Saban twice. Don't work out too well.
I mean, TCU, you want to be in, just keep winning. Just win the games on your schedule.
If they win out, they'll probably be in.
Yeah, win some games decisively.
Yeah.
Just do what you do your part. You can't do anything else. So
handle business against Kansas this week.
Yeah, kind of going through the middle. I don't really have too many. I think LSU and Mississippi are overranked for Alabama purposes.
I was very surprised that LSU was that high. They've beaten some good teams.
They only beat Ole Miss.
Earlier.
They only beat Ole Miss.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like the best teams they've beaten are because they got stomped by Tennessee. They lost to Florida State, and that was week 1, so it doesn't count.
Who do they play? Who's LSU play this week? Bama.
They play Bama. Yeah,
that's why they're 10.
No, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Okay.
And then who Bama plays the week after that? Ole Miss, number 11, who's on the bye right now, so they can't. They can't drop.
They can't drop them. Yeah,
I mean, I think teams like Kansas State and Utah should be ranked over them. Also, Illinois at 16, disrespect. They should be 8-0 right now.
Dude, what happens if imagine Illinois wins the Big Ten championship?
12-1, they're in because they're beating Ohio State or Michigan 100%. The 12-1 Big Ten champ went in last year. Michigan went in last year, and they had that weird loss to Michigan State.
Dude, I love this time of the year where you can just be like, "What's the most chaos that we?"
Okay, the most chaotic. I think Tennessee because their offense. Throw in TCU, Oregon, and Illinois. Because Oregon has no defense, TCU has no defense, and Illinois is just like, we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna play really good defense.
That would be awesome. Let's really get some new colors in there. If we got Tennessee, TCU, Oregon, and Illinois in the college football.
Well, the funny thing is that the orange isn't new because of Clemson. Oregon's been there, but purple, that's a new one. And then seeing Illinois in the fucking college football playoff would be awesome.
That's hilarious.
I want to shout out Oregon State for being ranked for the first time in fucking forever. I think at least in almost 10 years. I don't know why Oklahoma State is still ranked after being curb stomped for an hour last weekend.
That's crazy.
And then Syracuse, our opponent this week, is number 20. I don't know if you have any.
No, I was just going to say in Oklahoma State, anytime you get beat that bad, unless it's to Georgia, you should probably fall out of the top 25.
I mean, yeah, Kansas State was already a 2-loss team.
It's not like they got steamrolled by anybody in the top 5. They just got shit on by a team that
I don't even think Kansas State was ranked last week. I might be wrong.
I don't know. They're not in the CFP.
K-State?
Yeah.
No, they're 13 or 12.
Are they?
Yeah, they're 13.
Okay, that's what
I would have them above LSU and Ole Miss.
Yeah. But it's not it's still. That was just so bad.
Yeah.
I guess they're keeping that in to make
trying, I guess, prop the Big 12 up, right? Because you could have them sneak their way back into the title game,
right?
If things fall the way with TCU. You want to talk about it? Number 20 Syracuse, Pitt's opponent this week.
Yeah, I think it's probably a fair ranking for them given the way they've lost.
Right, they lost 1 score to Clemson, then they kind of got shit pumped by Notre Dame, but
yeah.
Okay, so Syracuse is coming to town at 3:30 on Saturday. It'll be broadcast on the ACC network.
Oh yeah, ACC network.
Let's go.
Same 3 ads over and over again.
Yeah.
Because you want the tactical flashlight.
Yeah, dude, they always do have those infomercials.
I like the Joe Namath AARP one. That one's really funny to me for some reason. But
sometimes the camera's on the ball, sometimes it's not.
Sometimes the camera comes in the middle of a play from an advertisement.
Yeah. It's all, you never know what you're gonna get.
It's ACC. It just means more.
Mystery. That is quite the mystery flavored channel.
It's the white airhead. This tastes like 3 different channels, but also feels like it's being run out of someone's basement.
When I think white airhead, I think ACC network.
The official airhead flavor of the ACC is the white airhead.
That's awesome, dude. I haven't had an airhead in forever. I could go for an airhead right now.
I had a
rip
couple.
a big box of airheads.
Fuck yeah, dude. During the game, it's like you're like, you know how like when you eat too many of them, your tongue like gets kind of sore.
Yeah. white only. We just get the giant box of white airheads.
Every time an ad repeats, we eat another airhead. No, not another flashlight. Your stomach's full of beer, airhead. Your tongue is numb.
You got 3 cavities. Yeah.
Every time they hand the ball to Izzy, you have to eat an airhead.
Oh god.
I might develop diabetes.
Yeah, just from one day.
All right, so let's talk about Syracuse, right? Mm-hmm. They are coming off a loss to Notre Dame in which Garrett Schrader was benched. I believe they're throwing 2 straight picks. Yeah. The word out of Syracuse is that, quote, there is no quarterback controversy, so what that probably means is that Garrett Schrader is once again starting. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't really think much of Garrett Schrader. I think he is not a good quarterback. Obviously, they have a strong running game they can lean on with Sean Tucker, who is like, that's your key, right? If you stop Sean Tucker, you stop the entire Syracuse offense. So, kind of going by their season stats. Now, Sean Tucker has 145 carries for 758 yards and 7 touchdowns. He has not been utilized like you would expect him to over the last couple games. He's only gotten maybe, I think, under 20 touches in each of his last 2 appearances. Garrett Schrader on the year is throwing, doing the quick math, throwing something around 65%, 1636 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. The line is Pitt minus 3.5.
Love it.
I don't know why.
I don't get that either, to be honest. My roommate told me we were favored this week, and I was like, what are you talking about?
There's no reason for it.
Vegas is literally us right now. They're like, they got to bounce back.
Yeah.
When are they going to bounce back?
Yeah.
And we don't.
Syracuse looked bad the last couple weeks. I'm still shocked. I was really thinking we were.
I feel like
I know we're a home team.
That
give us a few points. So
that gives us minus 3. They're basically
it's a pick 'em.
It's a pick 'em, yeah.
But I think that we match up really well against Syracuse, and I think that Vegas gets that because when we're getting torched by UNC, a lot of it isn't run game.
UNC is all through the air.
A lot of that is a big part. Like I think we match up well against what their offense is trying to do.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, and it just really comes down to what we can produce on offense, which who knows? Maybe I think we could have a good week.
Yeah. Well, if it's
it's been like tracking in the right direction, right? Like I feel like we've been
put everything together.
Yeah.
You know what it is? You know what it is more than anything? They can't put a game away for their life.
Yeah.
Every loss this year except for Tennessee, which is now the number 1 team in the nation. So we're gonna throw that result out. But they've led late in the game.
Yeah.
And then they just poop their pants for lack of better terminology, right? I think they've been up 3 at halftime at Georgia Tech, in the third quarter of Louisville. They're up 3 in the third as well. In the UNC game, I think they were up 3 going to the fourth.
I think
in Louisville.
The good news about all of those games, minus Georgia Tech, though, is that all those teams have good quarterbacks. I don't think that Schrader is very good. So if maybe we'll put one away. Maybe we can get up early and kind of sit on it for a little bit.
I hope so. I mean, so looking at, I want to touch on their game stats from Notre Dame, right? Notre Dame's quarterback is not good. Drew Pine, he went 9 of 19 for 116, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. However, Notre Dame ran for 246 yards on him. Their leading rusher had 20 carries for 123. Their second rusher had 20 carries for 85. They scored 3 touchdowns on the ground. I believe they threw a pick 6, though, so that kind of factors into the...
we can do that.
Yeah, we can definitely get a pick 6. But that's sort of... Syracuse runs a 3-3-5, so they're built kind of to stop the pass. So I think they also lost their best cornerback
We're going to see some safeties in the box this week.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. There's no doubt about it. This is going to be a...
Yeah. I mean, as I said after the Virginia Tech game, as long as Izzy can run for 300 yards, then we'll be fine.
Right. As long as we have 6 perfectly blocked plays a game, it'll work.
Yeah, as long as Izzy can run for 300 yards and 6 touchdowns each game, and we're good. But if we can't do that, then we might have some issues.
What was that stat you sent earlier today?
Oh shit! It was Pitt is.
I thought it was just Izzy that he has. I think it's like.
Okay. So there's 2 stats that I saw.
8 touchdowns.
He has 12 touchdowns of 10 plus yards, which is 6 more than anyone else. It's either 6 or 8 more than anyone else in the nation. It's like
that's crazy. Yeah.
But
it's like Pitt's offense in a nutshell, though.
Yeah. It's like you would think that the FBS leading touchdown scorer and who has multiple scores of 12 scores of 10 yards out would. Oh, they probably win a lot of games now. We're 4-4, and
you would think you'd play in a very explosive offense.
Yeah, right.
I also think we touched on this either, Monday or last week, but I think Signetti at this point is just like, let's just get Izzy as many touchdowns and yards as we can. Just let Izzy go off. Fuck the team.
That's gonna be the thing.
Fuck
that
the scoreboard.
When they do end of the year season reviews, and they're like, all right, why should you keep his job? Izzy.
I had the FBS leader in touchdowns.
Yeah. And they're going to fall for it. They're going to fall for it.
They're going to fall for it. It's like, oh, yeah, must be the scheme. No. I mean, I really need to get my hands on the All-22 because, I need to get, that, a projector and a whiteboard and just be this sucks and this is entirely Izzy.
Yeah.
Right? We mentioned it last week. It's all him bending plays to the outside. It's him teleporting through a pile of guys. The original stat I wanted to bring up, and this is the one that's bad. Pitt is converting 22% of its third down tries on passing plays. That is 4th worst in FBS, so that's 127th out of 131.
Dude.
The 3 teams that are worse.
Who's worse?
UMass, Colorado State, and New Mexico.
That's unreal.
That's fucking unreal.
But we're not last.
Staying
positive.
I suppose you can only go up from this, but I mean, jeez.
The thing is, though, it's they're doing everything they can. They have, one of the best tight ends in the country. They have.
Well, they're not using him.
Yeah, exactly. It's they're not using him. Do you want the good players that you have to just be fuck this and leave? Because you're doing a real good job of putting that in their heads. Konate. Very good receiver at Akron, honestly has some potential, and they just they've barely used them. Gavin didn't have a catch last week. They're doing everything they can to drive out their talent on offense.
And it's crazy because I think some people would argue, they've seen the film on Bartholomew, they're doubling him and stuff like that, but it literally doesn't fucking matter.
They're not doubling him. I can tell you that much.
The Ravens with Mark Andrews, quite literally the only threat that they had, they still get the ball to him.
He runs up 10 yards, turns around, and he's open, and they just throw it to him every time.
I mean, it's an NFL, it's different, but you got to think that there's still ways to get him the ball.
I would even argue Jared Wayne is almost worse. Right, the leading receiver, he has 32 catches for 572, which is obviously underperforming relative to what he can do. He has 1 touchdown the year, but he's averaging 18 yards a catch.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's all bad. The whole passing offense is bad.
I mean, obviously the play action was working last week, but it was the only things that was really working was the deep play action shots, and you have to think that even if Izzy can go off, you have to get some of these short passes going because, as we mentioned before, if these short passes, I think they're just not doing enough. They're not doing enough slants. Just run some slants.
Dude, yeah.
Run a slant and just...
It works on Madden every time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying, if they're going to bring 5, 6, 7 every play, just throw a slant over their heads.
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating, too, because I feel like they just look complete. The first 2 weeks, WVU and Tennessee, I felt like they were passing the ball pretty well. They had some good, good pass plays down the field. The one to Gavin where he ended up hurdling, I was like, that play was sick. He... comes in motion and then just does a wheel route and he was just wide open. And it's we're not even doing anything close to that now. We're just running the ball, and then I don't know, dude.
It's almost sort of the paths diverged in the Tennessee game. Tennessee obviously has only gone up from there. I think it took Pitt a couple weeks to really start entering free fall, but I think really the Georgia Tech loss broke this team in a way that is just profound.
Yeah.
And I think it's way different, too, if they end up pulling out. It's like, I don't want to keep going back to the Tennessee game, but
imagine what that does to a team's confidence, especially, like, I would assume Tennessee probably does the same thing, you know. Their offense was still really good in that week, even though we were, like, one of the only teams to ever shut them down.
Mm-hmm. And it's like we miss a 36-yard field goal and a 44-yard field goal in the second half that game, and you make one of those, you win. You know, maybe Keaton doesn't get hurt, you win. There are a couple, plays in overtime, like you have a 3rd and long, and you just give up a fucking bomb touchdown. Yeah,
we're focusing on the wrong team in orange right now.
Yeah, I know. But one of the things goes our way, we win that game. I think it's a whole different season. But it's just hard to see Tennessee at number 1. I'm going back to the rankings essentially, but. And all right, moving on.
Well, let's just see. We can still see orange this week, and we'll just take out all that built-up aggression from Tennessee.
Yeah,
Just put it right into the orange, man.
Forget seeing red, we're seeing orange.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I really do think that Syracuse is a team that Pitt matches up well against.
Yeah.
They have a turnover-prone quarterback. They have a star running back who we shut down last year. Granted, the team was a little bit worse, but it sucks that this is a totally winnable game, and I'm just sort of waiting to see how large the lead is in the third quarter to see how we're going to blow it this time.
This also feels like when never mind, scratch that thought. I was thinking about that backwards. I was gonna when the Jags were favored over the Giants in that game. Everybody was like, why are the Jags favored? But I forgot that the Giants actually ended up winning that game. So. Right.
That would be my point of view.
Yeah. When I'm looking at the line, I was because it feels like a game that we shouldn't be favored in. Like that was a game that felt like the Jags shouldn't be favored in.
I guess the reason I see that we're favored in, I think the reason that I can see us winning is our run game, and that's our strength. And Syracuse does sort of struggle against running teams. They did lose their top corner, so Jared Wayne might be open on some deep pass plays. But I think really. And this is just sort of an intangible, something you can't really tell your team to do or coach it, is they got to have a clutch gene, man. That is, I mean, it's obviously there are other factors, the offense sputtering, but the defense, like, they get tired. Like, the offense has to have a second gear like they did last year where they put games away because they just aren't doing it this year. I think that is, that's your difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between the Ravens and Pitt, I can't stomach another collapse.
Yeah.
Yeah, jeez.
Just please win, right? Please win.
Please win.
Hashtag please with the 3-4. Win.
Hashtag pleased.
No, because then we look like a Syracuse.
That does look like Fishman.
All right. I want to go sort of one more thing before we get to the rest of the slate. Do you consider Syracuse a rival? I think this has been going around. Because I was thinking about it, and it's technically a rivalry, but there's been long stretches of both teams winning. I think the 90s were all Syracuse, and the 2000s have been mostly Pitt. But I think it's more of a basketball rivalry. But
I personally do not. I think one team can only have so many rivals, and obviously our two biggest are WVU and Penn State. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, in the Coastal, I see Virginia Tech as our biggest, and yeah, I don't like to say that we have too many rivals, but I could see where you're coming from is in terms of talking about it, at least.
This is big. Big ACC is trying to push this narrative of Syracuse being a rival.
Dude, it's the ghost of the Big East haunting the ACC.
I'm trying to think of the last 5 times we played them. What's that look like, though?
Pitt has won 4. They lost in 2018, I believe.
I was going to say it. It's like we beat them every time.
Yeah.
The last really exciting game was the 73-64 game in 2016.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a crazy...
But
I thought you were saying 1973 at first.
No.
That one.
The Blizzard of 73. Pitt versus Syracuse.
Yeah, they had to play outdoors because the Carrier Dome.
Carrier Dome, that's blown up.
Yeah. So I don't know. Remember, wasn't that the game like 2018 and 2019 where Paris Ford picked one of their players up and suplexed him?
19.
Was it 19?
Was that Syracuse? Yeah.
Syracuse. Yeah.
I was like trying to like go through what I remember in those games, like what could make this a rivalry, and I was like, well, that could be cool, but that's the only thing that I remember.
I think if they had stayed like better after that super high scoring game, because actually the last loss was Kenny Pickett's first year, but
both these teams are too cyclical. Like we had a good year last year, they're having a good year this year. Like if there were ranked matchups every year, you could maybe make that argument, but it just doesn't never happen.
If the thing is with Syracuse, though, it's like where Pitt will fall to like 6-6, Syracuse will fall to like 2-10.
Yeah.
So that's really where the issue lies. Just imagine recruiting like a Florida wide receiver to go to Syracuse.
Yeah, that's yeah.
You want to go to
It's
journalism?
It's a dome.
You want to get a journalism degree?
We have a dome. Come play here.
We swear Syracuse is fun.
R.I.P. the dome.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't torn that down yet.
I thought they did.
They renamed it. It's not the Carrier Dome anymore.
Oh no, I thought I was talking about a different dome.
Our dome.
Our dome. Our beloved dome.
Yes.
That's gone. That's gone, I think.
Yeah. The Carrier Dome's still there.
Yeah.
They still play every sporting event there.
Yeah, they play baseball. Baseball in the Carrier Dome. All right, you want to talk about the rest of the weekend?
Yeah.
All right.
Pitt's winning this game.
Yeah.
All right, I guess you're going to say they're going to lose. I'm going to say they're going to tie.
The first ever tie in the college football playoff era.
Ties have been illegal since 1992.
It's just going to happen.
Someone's got to do it, right?
Somebody's got to do it. The Carrier Dome would be the
It's
best
Tuesday. They're still going for 2-point conversions here.
What was that the one tennis match that they had to like stop and resume play the next day?
There was a Japanese high school baseball game that did that, and then they had the same starting pitcher keep pitching. He pitched like 17 straight innings and won.
That does sound like Japanese baseball.
This is a Japanese baseball podcast
it's not even
now.
possible to time, but they're going to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
I guess you could say we'll cover.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that would still be a win.
Oh, fuck, you're right. All right, move the line and we cover.
Yeah.
By a couple points.
You push it to Pitt plus 1.5. Okay. So we did have Maction over the week. I don't want to talk about it because I didn't watch any of these games. Unfortunately, my beloved
Flash is lost.
My beloved Buffalo Bulls have lost to the odious Ohio Bobcats, Okay. Friday night is sort of... Oh, we have the Cum Bowl. We have the Cum Bowl on Friday night.
Cum Bowl season.
UConn is favored by multiple touchdowns. I kind of want to watch this, but it's on a weird network. Also, we should definitely try and go to the Cum Bowl if it's in, like, Fenway. Take a trip next year.
That would be hilarious.
Because it's supposed to be a neutral site game.
I could be convinced to go.
Okay.
Make a road trip.
That's about all I have in that game. Oregon State versus Washington at 10:30 on ESPN2. Sort of compelling, just because Oregon State is fun. Washington is fun, but they're not. Actually, they're both 6-2. They're actually pretty good. Okay, let's move to Saturday. The noon slate is bad.
Pretty desolate. I think I do have Wouldn't It Be Funny, though, for the noon slate.
Okay.
If you'd like to hear it.
Okay, give me one.
I have Wouldn't It Be Funny? The Virginia Cavaliers beat the UNC.
That would be funny.
That would be.
That's a good one.
That would be really funny.
UNC is kind of in the driver's seat for the Coastal. It's definitely theirs to lose at this point. Would be funny for Virginia to just kind of throw a wrench back into things.
With that awful offense,
Yeah.
that would actually be hilarious.
Yeah. And I mean, the line's there. Like, Virginia's a 7-point dog, which is a doable, you know what I mean? It's not like a...
I would bet UNC to cover, but...
Oh, yeah, but wouldn't it be funny?
Oh, it would be hilarious.
I don't pick these games to win you money. I pick them for the laughs.
Yeah, these are more spiritual picks. Yeah. Ohio State has a bye week against Northwestern. TCU plays Texas Tech. This is sort of when you check the score on, because TCU is liable to lose because their defense is really bad, but Texas Tech is also...
What's the over in this game?
69.
Nice. I like the over in that, I think. Honestly, there could be so many points in that game.
Yeah, for sure. The rest of it is just sort of SEC and Big Ten West slop. Nothing. You don't.
Slop.
They're not sending their best. These are bad hombres. Okay, let's kind of do a run on the 3:30 and then talk about the big one.
Okay.
You have Baylor, Oklahoma on ESPN Plus. Very weird that it's on this game at 3 o'clock.
I think that might have been my pick for the Big 12 championship.
Nice.
Which to see where these teams are at now is like.
I think I had Baylor and Oklahoma State. So
I also had Baylor and Oklahoma State, but good news about this matchup this week, boys.
Oh.
This is the Christmas matchup of the week.
get out your jingle bells, wrap the presents.
The
We got a Christmas
3
match.
p.m. Big 12 matchup of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Christmas in Texas in November.
Dude, it would be awesome if are they going all. Is Baylor going to go all green? If they went all green and all red.
All red? That's what I'm hoping for. It's really what I'm hoping for. I don't know if they announced it.
They're liable to do that,
check
too.
the IGs.
I'll check Oklahoma. You check...
I guess you'd look at Baylor, right? But
yeah, I'll check Baylor, and you check Oklahoma, and we'll see.
I mean, game-wise, it's just...
That would only solidify my pick.
It's sort of interesting. It's two teams that are definitely underperformed relative. They're still both 5-3. I guess I would pick Baylor on the account that Oklahoma's offense has been sort of hit or miss, but also Baylor's offense has not been too great. Oh,
they have not announced it yet. They wore all green last week, though, so it's not looking likely.
I feel like they did the all green, all red like a couple years ago, though, right? Maybe that was.
I guess. Yeah, wait. Did they wear all green 2 weeks ago too? They did. They wore all green 2 weeks in a row. So
they at home?
Hot Streak.
Yeah, and they won. So maybe they'll roll with
it. Yeah.
Did you find anything?
I couldn't find anything on Oklahoma.
All right. Well, it'll be a surprise.
Say your prayers. Say your Christmas prayers.
You write your letter to Santa and you say, "All I want," instead of these advertisements about the World Cup, you unfolds a letter and says, "I want Baylor versus Oklahoma to be Christmas colors at 3 o'clock in the Texas heat."
Yeah.
And my official pick for this game, this one's going to be tight. I think the line's 3.5 for Oklahoma. It's essentially a pick on Oklahoma's at home. This one's tough. I thought about this one a lot. I think I'm going to roll with the Bears. Got to go with my initial Big 12 champ pick, and I'm going with the Bears.
I love that.
I'll roll with the Bears too. I think they win this game.
Tell your bookie to give you a little odds boost for it being the Christmas game of the week.
Yeah. Didn't you know?
Haven't you heard?
You been checking out those podcast links I've been sending you? What's your pick? You got to give one.
What do you mean?
For the Christmas game, come on.
Oh, I'll ride with Kent. I'm going to ride with Kent.
All right.
Baby.
We're all going Baylor.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the line that's even. Oklahoma State versus Kansas. Jalen Daniel might be back. So if he's back, this is automatically a very interesting game. If he's not, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
Well, so Spencer Sanders might be hurt. Oklahoma State is currently in hell. So this either might be like they might fall apart or they might bounce back.
This is going to determine their season. Are they going to have a bounce back game or are they going to let the wheels fall off?
Yeah, pretty much. Anything else in the afternoon slot? Not really. So let's talk about the big one, the game of the week of the century, the Mario Shot Wheel game of eternity. Number 1 Tennessee versus number 3 Georgia. You can actually say this is a 1 versus 1 because Tennessee's number 1 in the college football playoff and Georgia's number 1 in the AP.
I think that Tennessee wasted those blackout uniforms on Kentucky last week.
Well, they're away. They're away.
True.
Yeah.
But they can switch that.
It's also a day game.
Yeah, you're not going to wear blackouts for a day game.
You're right.
But yeah,
That would have been
they'll go with
sick.
the classic white.
Yeah.
They'll look good. They have the best colors. They'll be.
Oh, they have the best colors, huh?
No, they have some of the best colors.
Yeah, I would
Correction.
argue they're
sure.
definitely one of the most iconic.
Yeah.
Can't look bad in either one of them, honestly.
So
let's talk about the game.
No more color talk.
These aren't Christmas colors. Do we even care about it? No. So it's the Tennessee offense. Everyone knows what it does. It scores points. Against the Georgia defense, who lost their sack leader, was it Nolan Smith or Caleb Smith? They lost their sack leader, is what I'm trying to get across. And I think this is huge for this game because how you beat Tennessee is you have to play the most sound defense you ever played in your life. And you have to get home rushing 4. Because if you rush 5, you rush 6, you are not going to get there. They're going to dump it off somewhere, and you're going to be in 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1. And
I had a very funny thought that when you look at defenses that have contained Tennessee this year, Pitt's probably considered one of them. So Georgia's probably watching Pitt.
Pitt is literally the game plan. I think the one thing though is that
the blueprint.
Pitt held their leading rusher to like 40 yards, and ever since that game, they've only gotten better at rushing the ball. So that's like one of the things that like is almost not replicable at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe it is with Georgia's talent, right?
Yeah.
But asking them to hold their rushing attack to 40 yards is a much larger task than it was in week 2 when they're still figuring everything out.
Right.
And I think that I think Tennessee at least covers, but I would also pick them to win. I think that just their offense is honestly too good. They're gonna end up scoring.
I think if they played in Knoxville, they win this game. But being that it's in Athens, I think it's gonna be a barn, not necessarily a barn burn. It's gonna be a very good game. But I'm with you. I think Georgia pulls it out in the end.
Yeah,
because of that.
I agree. I think Tennessee covers, but doesn't necessarily pull it out.
Okay, let me state my case. So I think if Georgia's gonna win, it has to do one thing. It has to go up by more than 2 scores at the 20-minute mark of the game. So 5 minutes into the second. If they're up 2 scores, their stadium's rocking, Tennessee's offense is quick, and they kind of limits their playbook when they have to play from behind. They have to let their defense rest. So I think that is sort of what you have to do. But Georgia lost a lot of players on defense. They don't really have... Like, their big win is against Oregon, who we know doesn't have any defense at all. And then, like, you look at their games. They struggled against Kent State. They had the weirdest game against Missouri where they nearly lost. And I think that I don't know if they have the... I mean, obviously, I don't think Tennessee's going to be walking into the end zone on every drive, but they have so much skill talent between Jalen Hyatt. Cedric Tillman is back. They have their 2 great running backs. They have Hendon Hooker, who just knows how to run the offense. And then if you look at the other side of the ball on Georgia's offense, their only player that I would consider on that level of like being a superstar player is Brock Bowers. And I don't know if just having a tight end is going to put you over the top for a game like this where you have to, if you get down, you have to keep scoring.
Okay, you sold me.
Because I think that their running backs aren't like they haven't had a real superstar running back probably since Chubbs was Swift. Chubb and Swift.
Yeah.
Like their guys, they're 5 yards a carry guy, but Tennessee has I think a sneaky underrated run defense.
Yeah.
So I think that honestly, if Tennessee doesn't shoot itself in the foot in the opening moments, this one might just be Tennessee sort of putting the pressure on that younger defense and like the way Tennessee, I mean, and like Jalen Hyatt in the Alabama game was wide open for 5 touchdowns. And how they do that is they trick the opposing defense into blowing their covers and not knowing what they're doing by running fast and running plays that sort of use your tendencies in your defense against you. And I think if this is last year's Georgia defense, we saw what happened, right? Tennessee moved the ball, but they couldn't score. But if they could move the ball, I think they had about 300 yards of offense last year against that, NFL star-studded roster. This turnover roster is going to struggle. And it's obviously hard to stay at the top for more than 1 year in college football. So I think that Tennessee is going to go into Stanford and take control of the SEC East.
All right, you convinced me. Let's go Vols. We got a 2019 LSU situation on our hand.
They really do feel like a team of destiny in ways,
I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't pick them a few minutes ago, I'm rooting for them for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
It'll be a fun one.
It's literally like unstoppable force versus the immovable object with this team's offense
Yeah.
and Georgia's defense.
That's a very good way to put it. Too bad the Christmas matchup is at the same time.
Yeah, so
You know what we'll be watching.
that'll be on the big screen. Tennessee will be on the laptop.
We're going to be doing the ESPN Gamecast option for the Tennessee-Georgia game.
I mean, honestly, this is going the same time as the pick game. This is going to get the main TV for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we'll just catch a glimpse of Keaton in the corner.
Keaton in the corner. That's where he should be.
Keaton's crazy corner. I'll let you decide how that's spelled. But yeah, this is. I'm super excited. This is sort of, this is why you watch college football, to watch matchups like these.
Yep.
Rivalries of top 3 teams.
And pending anything crazy, but whoever wins this game essentially just punches their ticket, I think, to the college football playoff.
100%.
Happens.
100%. Because then your only loss realistically is going to come to Bama.
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, this will be a good one. This is why we do it.
Yep.
And that's like.
So the night you sort of have some games of interest, right? You have number 6 Bama going to number 10 LSU. Like I said, LSU is definitely overranked to try and beef up the Bama resume, but
That game's always fun, though.
it's always fun.
Alabama's
Alabama's a 2-score favorite on the road. It's like, LSU is a very good team, but they're going against Alabama, so they're going to have to play a perfect game to beat them.
What time is the kickoff for that game?
7 o'clock.
All right,
7
so
o'clock on ESPN.
you get Baton Rouge at night. You get Death Valley.
Death Valley.
Which is that's worth like 6 points in itself, probably.
So what, it'll be like a 21-point line? Neutral site.
But yeah, it'll be one to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Upset alert, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there are some good games on. You have Texas going to Kansas State, 7 o'clock on FS1. I don't know who's going to play quarterback for Kansas State, but both of them are pretty good. And then Texas it depends on if you're getting Quinn Ewers, who throws 3 picks, or Quinn Ewers, who could beat any team in the nation. So that's sort of one to watch and kind of see what you're getting from Texas at first. But
Yeah.
I'm really interested in Kansas State just to see which quarterback they run with and how their offense is going to run, because their backup is more of a true passer, and they just adapted on the fly and just started crushing teams again.
Putting Clemson on upset alert this week too.
Okay. On Peacock, number 4 Clemson goes to Notre Dame, by the way, who has 2 losses at home. So they're not really great at home, which is very weird. But I don't know, the Notre Dame defense could give Clemson trouble. I mean, their wide receivers have sort of underperformed. They've got, their stars are really their tight ends, and that Notre Dame defense is strongest in the front 4 and those linebackers. So I think if Clemson's going to take a loss, it's going to be here. And
Yeah, this might just be this upset alert I'm putting on them could just be me last ditch effort to.
100%. This is a spiritual
but
throw us a bone.
Dude, at this point, should we be rooting for Clemson though, just to have ACC in the playoff?
I mean, if UNC goes undefeated, if UNC is 12-1, their only loss to Notre Dame, they're getting in.
No, I think Clemson deserves to not be number 4, and it makes me mad. So I'm very much rooting for them to lose.
Yeah,
that's fine.
And
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
But I get what you're saying. I'm go ACC, but also F it.
It's too early for that though. It's too early.
Yeah.
You're right.
And also Clemson is, even if they lose this, they're still going to win the Atlantics, and you still can then root for UNC against them in the championship game. Because if you beat 12-1 Clemson in the championship game, depending on how high they end up climbing, because I think they're up at 17 now or something, they'll probably start moving up. They'll probably get to borderline top 10. If you beat Clemson and everything else falls your way, you've got playoff UNC, and very funny image of playoff Mac Brown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's sort of it. The only other real game of note, Wake Forest, NC State, rivalry game, 8 o'clock on the ACC Network. Just sort of a fun game. You got freshman quarterback at NC State and Sam Hartman, who probably won't turn the ball over 6 times 2 weeks in a row, if I had to guess. And that pretty much wraps up the weekend. Everything else is just sort of check the score. If it's close, flip to it. If it's not close, you know what to do. Anything else before we move on?
Nope.
I think that's it.
All right. Thank you for tuning in once again to Semple Fi Podcast. If you liked it, make sure to follow the show on Twitter. Make sure to Follow us on your podcast app of choice. Rate us 5 stars. Leave a review. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbor. I'm running out of people to say. Tell your server at a restaurant. Tell the guy you get a sandwich from every day. Tell the guy you makes your coffee at Starbucks.
Tell your local representative.
Tell your local representative. Write to the Fetterman campaign. Write to the Oz campaign. All that, pretty much, just what an educated citizen does.
I think I said that one last week too. I think
we're reusing jokes for sure. The Twitter is at Semple Fi Pod. You can follow the hosts. My Twitter is at I'm Real Angry. You can follow Mason at Clayson_Ming. You can follow Kent at Kent_VW. And with that, we'll see you next time.
Hail to Pitt.
HTTP.